Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this adorably cute baby bib. So let's take a look at it, okay? All right, I'm using flannel fabric. So I have two pieces of fabric. I have the same flannel on the back as on the front. Now around the edges, I have bias tape, okay? Now you can buy your own bias tape already made, and it comes in usually solid colors like pink, yellow, blue, and so forth. Or as I did, I made my own. So if you want to make your own bias tape, I will go over that with you. Also on here, I have jumbo rickrack going all the way around the edges, so it has a nice little finish to it if you want a little bit more of an embellishment on it. And then up here at the neck for the closure, I'm using little Velcro squares. Okay, this is really cute, and you just close it and there you go, you have this really nice little bib. All right, these are really quick and easy to make. Now I'm going to go over the instructions on how to make it. All right, this is what you need. Alrighty, you're going to need 1/3 yard of fabric. As I said, I'm using flannel. You're also going to need bias tape. So if you're going to purchase it, you need to buy the 1/2 inch width, 1/2 inch width. And in this package, there's enough to do 2 bibs. And then the rickrack, I recommend you either use medium or jumbo. They also come in packages, and there's enough in that package to do 2 bibs also. Now, as far as your bias tape goes, as I said, you can either purchase it ready-made or you can make your own. Now, they do have something out there called a bias tape maker, okay, and it's not very expensive. You can find it in your fabric stores, and if you want to do that, just follow the instructions on the back of the package. And because I'm unable to use this because I have a disability with my right hand, I'm going to show you another way to make it without this bias tape maker. So you have several different options there for your bias tape. So let me put all this aside, and now I'm going to show you how to make your own custom pattern. Now, it might look a little complicated and scary, but believe me, it's really, really easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this video on pause, and you're going to go get some paper, a pencil to draw with, and a ruler. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to draw this pattern. Won't take very long at all. Now, this is the upper half of the bib. All right, so we're going to focus on the neck area on this. So because this is 10 inches wide, you're drawing a 10 by 14 inch rectangle, if I didn't mention that. 10 by 14 inch rectangle. After you've drawn that rectangle, you want to mark the center. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. So I'm going to take my 5-inch line here, and I'm going to place it on this line right there, okay? Then I'm going to take my 2.5-inch line going this way and placing it on this line. So I'm going to slide it down. Make sure it's on the 5 and the 2.5. Then you're going to draw a 2.5-inch long line from here down to there. Okay, so now you have this. This is what it should look like now. Now you want to slide this over and put the 3-inch line going this way here on this line. And then put the 2.5-inch line back up here on this top line. So get it all lined up. And you're going to draw a line from this point down to the number 6, because we want to make a 6-inch long line, because we're creating a rectangle that is 6 inches by 3. Okay, so now you want to take this 3-inch line going this way and put it on this line. Right? So line it up, and now you're going to draw from this 3-inch mark down to the corner of the ruler, and then across back down to the 6. Okay, so this is what it should look like right now. Now you're going to connect these 2 points here. So just put your ruler there, make sure it's nice and straight, and then draw your last line. Okay, so now you have this little rectangle. This is what it should look like on this. Now the next part goes really fast. So here is the pattern. Okay, so you should have this rectangle here and this line and a great big large rectangle, 10 by 14. This is 3 by 6 in here. Now you're going to take something round, and I have these templates here that I've had for over 20 years. I purchased them in a fabric store. They've been around forever, probably longer than me. And they come with 5 in a pack, and they range from 1 inch on up to 5 inch. So if you have these, go ahead and get these out. And I highly recommend, if you're going to continue sewing and doing crafts, that you get these little round circle templates. They're so handy. So I'm using my 3-inch circle template, and I'm going to put it in this corner. And when the edges here and here and here hit those straight lines, you're going to draw around just halfway. So now it should look like this. Then go over here and do the same thing. Draw around it. Okay. Now, up in here in the neck closure area, I needed a little bit smaller template because that big one just wasn't working out for me. I didn't like the way it looked. So I'm using a 2-inch circle and push it in there. When it touches the sides, draw halfway around it, or a third of the way actually. Put it over here, do the same thing. Then over here in this corner, and draw, and one more time, place it in there and draw around it. Okay, so now look in your kitchen for a really large lid, because you want to make a really wide sloping drawn line right here. Now, because I've been sewing forever, longer than some of you've been alive, I found this template that I've used for a long time. It's used in making clothing, and I'm using the small side. Okay, so it's called the round corner template, and you can find these in your fabric stores. They're there. So I'm using the small side, and I'm going to push it right into this corner. Now, when this line and this line touch the corner up here is when you're going to stop. Okay, and now you're going to draw around it. Now move it over here and do the same thing. Okay, and then draw around it, and then go down to the bottom, line it up and draw around it, and then go over to your last corner and draw around it. Okay, so let me show you what it should look like. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. So your baby bib pattern should look like this. Now, I want to let you know I made this on cardstock, but I ran out of large sheets of cardstock, so I went and scrounged through my husband's desk, and I pulled out a file folder, okay? And I just cut the edge off, unfolded it, and that's what I used to make my baby bib pattern. So if you have some old file folders sitting around, use that, or cardstock. Like I said, you can use paper, but it doesn't last very long, and it tears really, really easy. Okay, so now take your fabrics. Here's my flannel fabric, and you want to bring front sides together. All right, so bring those front sides together and bring your selvage edges together here. That's this white part. Whoops, sorry. It's this white part right here. This is the selvage. Okay, so when you lay your pattern down, don't lay it over the selvage. so leave that part out of it. Lay it down on there. And what's nice about the cardboard is you don't have to pin it down like you do paper. So then you would just go ahead and either with a fabric marker or a pen and just draw around all of the edges, okay? And there, okay? Then after you've drawn it, go ahead and cut on those drawn lines. All right, got that part done. Now we can start putting it all together. So here's what it should look like after it's been cut out. You can use that pattern over and over and over again. That's what I like about cardstock. So now up here in the neck area, you're going to do a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to start right at the edge over here and move into that 1/4 inch and stitch all the way around and then come back and end up here. Then after that, you're going to take a small pair of scissors because it cuts a lot easier on this next part. And you're just going to do little snips. And you don't want to cut through your stitch line. So you're going to cut around all of these curved areas. You don't need to cut it in here. And then through here. All right, so once you got all those snips, and the purpose of snipping that is that it will lay much flatter when we turn it front side out. So that's your next step. Open it up and just begin turning it to where the front side is out. So poke out these little neck closure areas. Let me get the next one here. Poke it out. And now you want to line up this seam and smooth your fabric out. Okay, so I'm going to adjust this just a little bit here. You kind of see what it looks like and see how nice that neckline lays because you did those little snips. Otherwise, it would be really, really bunchy. Now the next step is we're going to stitch around this neck area. So let me go to my next sample. And up here in the neck, you're going to begin stitching real close to the edge. You're going to stay slightly less than 1/8 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch. Start up here at the raw edge here and just begin stitching all the way around, okay? And come back out the other side, and then you're going to end at that raw edge up there. Your next step is to put your binding on. So if you want to make your own binding, remember I said you can either use the bias tape maker, or I'm going to show you how to make it without the bias tape maker. Alrighty, so you need to cut your fabric strips, and you'll need about 2 strips that are 2 inches wide. And if you do not know how to cut your fabric on the bias, click on the link in the upper right hand corner for detailed instructions on how to cut that. Now in that video it's having you cut the bias strips wider, but for this project only cut your strips 2 inches wide. All right, and pay attention on how you connect the ends of your strips together because that's important. After you've got that all cut out and your ends are stitched together, then you want to take your strips and fold it in half like that and press it the full length of your strip. Then unfold it, and now you're going to take this raw edge here and fold it to that center fold line. So fold it in like that and then press with your iron, and I usually just do one side at a time. Press that whole side down, then take this side and do the same thing. Press it all the way down, and then one more pressing, which I find very important, is to fold it in half and press the full length of the strips, because once it's folded in half, you'll find that it will go around your raw edges really, really easy. And bias binding stretches, and that's why it's important to use something that stretches when you're going around corners. Okay, so now let's put that binding on. Whoops, let me turn this. So, whoops, let me turn it over. Sorry, Mr. Cameraman. So now, up here at this corner is where you're going to start with your binding. So, you're going to take the end of your binding strip, and if I didn't mention it earlier, you want to make sure you cut that binding in straight. So cut that off because they'll be pointed, so you want to cut it straight. Okay, so now you're going to take that end and fold it in about 1/4 inch, all right? And then you're going to begin folding your binding up around the edge. So here it is. You're covering this raw edge up here. Fold it over. Place a pin there to hold it if you need to. And then go to your sewing machine and drop your needle down in here. And you're going to stitch along this side first. Then you're going to turn, leave your needle down, lift up the presser foot, turn your bib, lower that presser foot, and you're going to begin stitching along here. Now, you want to pin your binding down all the way around. You don't want to try to tug and stretch and pull it. So pin the binding down first, and then you begin your stitching. And remember, don't stretch the binding because then it'll make it all curve in like this and you won't like the way it looks. So continue stitching it on. When you get to the end here, you're going to cut that end of the binding off straight, leave a little bit of overhang, fold it just like you did here, and end stitching across the end here to close it off. Now, if you don't want to put the rickrack on, you can just skip this step and move on to the last part. But if you want the rickrack on, let me go over that. I think for this particular bib, this rickrack is so pretty, it just makes it look special. So take the end of your rickrack and you're going to fold it. Okay, fold it so that they can't tell where the end is. Okay, so fold it down. Then you're going to come over here and lay it down. Now, as you're laying it down, here's the edge of your binding. You're going to take the center of the rickrack, the center here, which is just below this little indentation curve, and you're going to lay it to where the bias tape shows, but you can't see where it's stitched. Now, you would leave this folded, lower your needle down into this, okay? Lower it down, and you're going to stitch right through the center. Now, I don't pin the rickrack down all the way around. It is so easy to lay down, you don't need to pin it. And just stitch a little bit, curve it around, stitch a little bit, continue curving it all the way around. And when you get here to the end, you're going to fold the other end just like you did here, fold it under, and then finish stitching across there. Okay, this looks really, really pretty. So let me go to the finished one because I want to show you the last little step. Okay, the last little step is putting your Velcro on. So if you've never worked with Velcro before, there's a rough side and a soft side, okay? And when you bring the two together, they just cling to each other really easy. Now you can buy your Velcro in little squares like this, already pre-cut, which is what I used. Or if you're going to make a lot of bibs, then you can buy it in a package of, I think it's got about 1 yard in there. So you can purchase it any way that you want. The one thing about the pre-cut squares is it has sticky stuff on the back. But I still like to stitch mine down because I'm always worried. These are going to get washed a lot. I'm always worried that glue that holds it down is going to come off. So I stitched around all 4 sides, And then you do that on the other piece too. Stitch around all 4 sides, and then you just bring them together and you're done. Isn't this cute? I just love this little bib. I think it's absolutely adorable. Now, if you're interested in other baby projects, because the Sewing Room channel has a lot of baby videos. Now here's one in which you can make a neck scarf, and it's got a Velcro closure just like that other bib. These are very popular right now for babies. Let me turn this around. So it's got a Velcro closure. And it opens like this, okay? It's really cute. I've seen a lot of babies wearing these. And if you want to, you can take those little onesies that you can get in the baby department. You can cut out, like I did here, a soccer ball, and then did an applique stitch around the edge. So they have kind of a matching little coordinated outfit. Really, really cute project. Another really, really easy video or project is making a baby changing pad, okay? Really easy to do, not difficult to make at all. Now, as I'm talking about these different projects here, the video links are appearing in the right-hand corner, so you can just click on those links to view them. This is a baby rag quilt. This is really simple, just a bunch of little straight stitching and then a lot of little snipping. A really fun, easy project to do. And then another easy quilt for a baby is you can buy printed panels like this. This is one solid piece of fabric. So if you're interested in making a panel quilt for a baby, when you go in the fabric store, just ask them, where are your baby panels? They should have some, and then all you would need to do is put fabric on the back and your cotton batting in between and put binding over the edges. Not a difficult project. These are all beginner projects. Now, the most popular video on our channel is this adorable baby quilt. Let me turn it, okay? This is really, really simple. It's been out for about a year and it has almost 650,000 views on this baby quilt. It is really pretty. A few more steps than the other projects I showed you, but it's also very easy. I do consider it a beginner's project. Okay, well, I hope you try some of these projects, especially that little baby bib. That's really, really easy. Don't need a lot of sewing experience to make that. Now, if you want to keep informed on all of the future videos coming from this channel, you need to click on the subscribe button. It's right down there in the lower right hand corner, red. It says subscribe, and then in the upper left hand corner is a round picture of my face. Click on either one of those. YouTube's going to prompt you for your email address, and the next time I have a new video, they send you a brief little email with a big button in the center. You click on it and it takes you directly to my latest video. I'm Cheryl. I'm really glad you came to my sewing room, and I'm going to see you next time, and happy sewing.